I'm a data leader. There is nothing more important for modern businesses than data, in my opinion. It gives you what I call the golden thread. You only truly understand your organization when you understand how data flows through it, matches up all of your processes, all of the business opportunities, all of the actions that happen inside the company. So it really gives you the DNA of an organization. If you don't understand that, you don't understand how your business works. If you don't understand how your business works, you can't make it work effectively and you can't take advantage of new opportunities. So there is nothing more important than getting a real handle around strong data management and then really optimizing the use of data as well.
I think it's not important just for today's businesses. I think we are in a particular moment of mankind, and I'm not using mankind as a term by chance, in which probably data will help us to solve the paradox between growth for everyone at a sustainable cost. So I think data is the big optimizer, is the thing is going to give us that edge, that ability to solve the big problems that are in front of us, not just as a business, but as a society.
I mean, from my perspective, as I say, I work with HR organisations, and actually most of the challenges that I face with HR directors that I work with, one of their top gaps, their talent gaps in their organisation is usually around data and insights. And actually, if you think about what a HR director has influence over within an organisation, they're there representing the people assets within a business, which are a significant key asset for the organisation. And actually having access to effective insights and data to inform decisions around what you do with that asset, how you actually maximise productivity, how you drive up engagement, how you attract the right people into the organisations, has such a bearing on the whole business success that it's quite critical to have those data and insights capabilities as an organisation as a whole, but particularly within the people function. And for me, I see that as a challenge that most of the HR directors I speak to recognise as being a gap right now. So coming here today and talking to people who are data and insights specialists really shows for me that the opportunity that there is in the HR sector in particular to really drive up that capability.
I think it's really clear for us to see that businesses which are investing in data and analytics are really thriving. So it's been a great opportunity for us during COVID to really demonstrate that businesses really need to work here, push all of their data assets really hard. So we're working luckily in an industry and sector that's got a great opportunity to thrive right now.
The data is important, but it's not the only thing, right? I think it's kind of important because, like I said, culture, going digital is also important. But data is effectively, for me, is the conduit that allows you to bridge the kind of gap between the business and technology, and allow people to start being a little bit more thoughtful about the decisions they make, and not necessarily taking the data and the result as the only way of looking at it, but giving them a little bit more of a basis to make a more informed decision.
I think somebody today talked about that they'd spent 15 years and 20 years, and I thought, I better not mention I spent 32 years in data, because youthful looks, I'll see, I don't look like I've done 32 years in data, but I really have. And I think I started off as an analyst using data and delivering requests, etc. And the world's moved on. The questions you get are much harder because you can deliver things to people now which they can answer their own questions, the low-hanging fruit and all that sort of buzzwords. And so the questions that I get and that I work on with my team are much more complex. And that's really exciting because, when you look at what Netflix does with data, for example, which is like the real-world example that everyone talks about, how does it decide what to recommend to you? Well, we can all sit there and argue with it and say, why did it recommend this? But for a lot of people, they actually really enjoy what Netflix recommends to them. And the same is true for any things that we're doing as a company with data. We're trying to make our customers' lives easier, and probably on the side, trying to make sure that our company is making money. Those are two things for me that are really important.
That's a really tough question to answer. And I think for me there are 2 points in there. So the first one is making data-driven decisions and helping businesses making smarter and faster decisions. Data is at the core of that today, and this is one of the parts where data is very important. Data is everywhere. We've seen it recently. Everybody talks about data. Everybody wants to talk about data and bring data into their business. But being able to really make this data-enabled decisions is very important. The next part is about prediction. So we've all dreamt about predicting the future, knowing what will happen, and data enables that. And I do believe that this is why data is so important to us today.